pick the tool shed. And I can get the metal detector and the sledgehammer right off the bat. Alright, I'll start here. Alright. I'll put the reading nook here. It's been in the spare room. I wonder then, does that mean the library pretty much has to be like the next room, or well, maybe not, but I have a book. A Sightseer's Guide to Reddington. A Modest Account of Our Town by Sir Andrew Darrell. The third largest city in Fen Areas and site of its former capital, Reddington is synonymous with mountains, mystery, and magic. Most tourists head straight for the boardwalk and don't get much further than the botanical gardens. However, Reddington has much more to offer. Spectacular scenery, a historic castle, and a charming underground bazaar reward visitors who wish to explore further. Reddington is that type of unique, enchanting place that lingers in your mind and memories long after you leave her. Reddington's most popular attraction and a guaranteed crowd pleaser, the Botanical Gardens is loved by both locals and visitors for its Algerian canopy house and mausoleum, its petal-covered trails, and a mind-boggling variety of flowers. This is the reason springtime is Reddington's busy season. Situated just east of town, the Botanical Gardens offer a scenic and captivating tableau of the natural countryside. A cobblestone trail meanders past over 1,000 species of tropical plants, each remarkable in its own right, yet even more stunning set against the spectacular backdrop of the Reddington Mountains. Allow yourself at least an hour to indulge in this picturesque walk, which concludes at Mainway Station. Ilex X Miss Survey. Maybe that's the holly from Mount Holly. You will find sitting at the base of Mount Perma, Reddington's second highest summit, a historic site described by scholars as significantly important to the realm's past. Featherfall Keep, the former house of Lord William Epsom, has until recently always been a private residence, serving as a family home to the Epsons since before the Third Era. After the death of Lord Epsom, his oldest son, Lionel Epsom, left the estate never to return. However, the daughter stayed, maintaining the residence and its staff until her marriage in 1951. At that point, Featherfall Keep ceased to be a family residence. It began operating as a historic house, museum, and tourist attraction, and the estate was designated a National Historic Landmark in 1972. It is still believed by many that Featherfall was built by the first king of Orinda Aries when Reddington was still the capital. However, surface documents containing conflicting dates have recently cast some doubt on the long-standing myth. Close your eyes and imagine tranquil, serene stillness, rolling fogs, clear water, and gliding swans. In the midst of all that beauty sits Trinsdale Lake, one of Fen Area's premier vacation destinations, exclusive for its more privileged citizens. The lakeside resort and cabins have been frequented by royalty and the realm's gentry for generations. However, on the southern shore of the lake, tourists are free to enjoy the views and rub elbows with the rich and famous in the 100 Bells Tea Room. I remember that. Which is open to the general public for lunch on Mondays and Fridays. And this is where we are. At an elevation of 11,220 feet, Mount Holly is the tallest mountain in the Redington Range and the highest peak in the entire realm. Beyond the physical challenge itself, climbing Mount Holly Trail is a beautiful experience, and one that many hikers and explorers will want to do at least once. It's only a few hours from Redington to get to the trailhead, and you won't need any local guides or special gear if you tackle the trail during the summer season. However, those willing to give this mountain a significant amount of planning and research will be greatly rewarded, whether or not they actually summit. On the opposite side of the peak, far from the trail, rests the estate of Mount Holly, nestled between the summit's northern slope and saddle. This 80-acre mountain residence is almost as old as Redington itself. However, unlike Featherfall Keep, the property has been completely private since the closing of the Mount Holly schoolhouse in '66. Still, hikers will be able to appreciate the house's unique architecture at a distance from one of the trail's many north-facing overlooks. For the sentimental tourists wishing to pick up a souvenir to remember their stay, one might try braving the Mainway Station Bazaar, but don't be too hasty. Without proper guidance, the Mainway Station can be a dangerous place. Located underground, this unique marketplace was once Redington's central railway station, in a time when the realm's trains were still in service. Now, the turnstiles, footbridge, and platform have been appropriated and turned into a cavern of tents and torches. Whether you are bargain hunting, looking for adventure, or finding a memento to commemorate your visit, the Mainway Station Bazaar will be a worthy conclusion to your sightseeing adventure in Redington. And we are way down at like the southern end of this. That bazaar reminds me a bit of Reading Terminal Market in Philadelphia, which also used to be a train station. Alright, let's see if we can gain any ground here. Well, I'll scratch off the spare room. Okay, I'll take the observatory. See how many constellations I can spot. Apples are extra delicious today. Wish I had the schoolhouse. The den, I am so taking it. The bedroom. I can regain some steps. Now, security is important because I can set the number of keycard doors. Set that to low. And offline mode is unlocked. Let's not forget to log in here. what's in this email. Oh wait, I can only do that from the office. So let's go this way. I need a long straight room right now, so afford the office. It'll have to be the hallway. And I can afford the courtyard, which has a trunk in it. Well, the chapel gives me more options. To put the storeroom in. It does give me keys and a gem, but it is a dead end. Go back this way. Does have experimental house features. So let me run an experiment. Ooh, I'd like that. Whenever I spend 2 or more gems drafting a room. I hope I'll be able to do that, though. Alright, back to security. The West Wing Hall here. And I pretty much have to put the... Maybe I don't have to put the workshop here. I can go out through the chapel, but I can't afford the garage. I guess there's 2 places I can put it. Maybe I have to find anything that's powered by a battery. Looks like I'm going back to the other side and through the chapel. really set the number of keycard doors to its lowest level so that something like this wouldn't happen. Yeah, there we go. East Wing Hall. The passageway costs too much. The parlor has gyms, though. Exactly 2 of them. The gyms are in the black box, nothing. The gyms are in a box with a statement. So if the gyms are in a box with a statement, that means they're not in the white box. And they could be in either the black box or the blue box. If this is true, then this is also true. But I'm guessing there's only 2 statements to be had here, so one of these has to be false. If the gems aren't in a box with a statement, this is false. If the gems are... but this is also false. So I'm going to say the gems are in a box with a statement, which is true, but not in the black box. Yeah, there we go. Glad I have some keys. I'd like to draft the wine cellar, but I can't, because it's a dead end. The commissary is the way to go here. So I'll buy me a shovel. Instead of 4 gems. And a few more. Yeah, I'm going by that book. Well, I'll have to put the gymnasium here. It's another dead end. Well, this is it. I've got a house full of dead ends. Unless I can go to the courtyard and somehow dig up the key card. There was a dig spot in the tool shed. So once again, I wasn't able to run the experiment in the lab. I'm gonna have to call it a day here.